Welcome everybody to Culture Shock Bible Study Week 12. We are back in the building. Me and Pastor Steven. I know everybody's out there probably watching the Nick game right now, understandably. But I hope you come and tap in with us, whether it be now on the rebroadcast today. I
Yeah,
know we're talking was this is the last chapter in
yeah.
Ecclesiastes, correct?
Yes, it is. This is the conclusion.
So this should be something special tonight. We just want to thank you guys for continuing to be with us every single week. And anybody that is new tonight watching, welcome. Always welcome. If this is your first Bible study, make sure you go back 12 weeks and watch from episode 1. I know it's a lot of time, but take the time. It's not for us, it's for God. So Pastor Stephen, before we get started, how are you, first of all? How was your week?
I'm good. My Knicks are up 3-1, so I'm good. I just telling Pat that I used to be a terrible one of those psychotic Nick fans. So I've been delivered, right? I'm not as bad as I was before. So now I'm good. I'm good. Life, nothing to complain about. I can't. No complaints here. Yeah. You.
Everything is good, man. Everything is good. It's been cool to see New York in a little bit of a different stage with the Knicks and all of that going on. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
life just flies, man. Life flies. It's important to take each day, as its own. And
yeah,
it's been a blessing every single
yeah.
day. I'm blessed to say I have a lot to do today.
Yep.
So,
Yes,
but
sir.
with that being said, Pastor, go ahead. It's all yours. The floor is yours.
Okay, okay. Well, again, let me just say thank you to everyone that has rode out, ride with us on these weeks of Ecclesiastes. I hope it was informative, as well as inspirational to you. Now what we've learned now in chapters from 1 to 11. Now at the verse chapter number 12, Solomon is putting it all together. And what he's going to do tonight is really, you were once students. He was teaching you these last 11 chapters. And now in chapter number 12, he's concluding it, and he's trying to let you know someday all students have to become good teachers. Right? That's what it is. That life is, we are in a role at one particular time in our life as young. We talked about it last week, being young and understanding the patterns. And I'll briefly touch it tonight as well. But then after you reach a certain age, you switch from, now we still are students and learning even in our adulthood. But what he is trying to switch is that you come from learning life to now we at the stage of our life where we start teaching. Right.
Mm,
And every good student, every student must eventually become teachers. Right. That's what we do. The knowledge that we receive, our experiences, our good times, bad times, up, down, we've learned and acquired a lot of knowledge. And it's hopefully what we do, we won't be selfish with it, that we do pass it along to those who are coming up behind it. And so that's really what he wants to get to. He's going to talk to about the conclusion of the matter that we will talk about a little bit tonight. But it's really, it's pushing people to stop just being students, but also understand that you have to become now teachers as well. Use your experiences and hand it down, pass that knowledge down to the next generation, or even to your generation. Right.
right.
So that's where we are. We've learned so much about life. We learned so much. Hopefully it was good. You learned a lot, P.
I know I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I know that for a fact. Yes,
Okay.
I know plenty of people had to have taken a lot away from it.
Okay. So that's we've learned about seasons. We learned about the value of life. We learned about how life can be here today. It's like a breath, a vapor. We learned about cycles. We learned about anger. We learned about materialistic things. We learned about prosperity. We learned about money. We learned about different vices. There's so much things that we learned about through this journey. And remember, he was trying to figure out. All I'm doing is recapping everything for those of you. He's trying to find the meaning of life. And remember, he was experimenting with all different things to find out what gives life its meaning. And tonight in chapter 12, he comes to the conclusion of it. So we're at the end of this experiment, and he's going to come to what he figured out or found out what's the most important thing about life. Okay. And so if you have your Bibles, we are in Ecclesiastes 12, verse number 9. We'll deal with 1 through 8 in a sec, but we are really at 9. Ecclesiastes 12, verse number 9. Well, let me just pray first. Lord, thank you again for tonight. Thank you for bringing us all in this virtual space together, whether we're watching it live or restream. God, we thank you for this journey that we have taken together. We pray that it has been helpful, informative, transformative to those. And let tonight be the same way. Let the information that we hear tonight, take in, let it be beneficial to our lives for tomorrow. We thank you in your name. We pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So Ecclesiastes 12, verse number 9. It says, not only was the teacher wise, but he also imparted knowledge to the people. He pondered and searched out and set in order many proverbs. The teacher searched to find just the right words, and what he wrote was upright and true. The words are wise like golds. We're going to talk about that. They're collected sayings like firm embedded nails given by one shepherd. I know that sounds crazy, but we're going to break it down. Be warned, my son, of anything in addition to them. Of making many books, there is no end. Much study wearies the body. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God, keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it's good or evil. Let me just change the translation for those sometimes following along with the King James and the NIV. Let me do the life. Keep in mind this. This is what he says. The teacher was considered wise, and he taught the people everything he knew. He listened carefully to many proverbs, studying, classifying them. The teacher sought to find just the right words to express truths clearly. The words of the wise are like little cattle prods, painful but helpful. Their collected sayings are like little nails, studded sticks, which the shepherd drives the sheep. But my child, let me give you some further advice. Be careful, for writing books is endless and much study wears you out. The whole story. Here's now the final conclusion. Fear God and obey his commandments, for this is everyone's duty. So if we wanted to end here, we could have end here. This whole chapter, what he's trying to say, I've searched everything, all different money, accolades, different success, failures, and now here's the whole truth. Fear God. Fear God, keep his commandments.
Yeah.
That's the whole duty. Like, that's your whole, everything about life and everything that you do. Fear God, keep his commandments. Whatever he says to do, be obedient. That's the conclusion. He searched all of life to figure out everything I do, I must fear God. Now, when I say fear, so those of you, this doesn't mean be scared of God. This is having a reverence, a highly respect for God. That's what it means. Have a deep respect for God, where what God says you do. right? And you make sure that what all of your decisions are pointing to that. I want to make sure I please God and be respectful and be honored, that everything I do, I want to bring honor to God. That's what he's saying. So if I'm going to be successful, bring honor to God. Even in my failures, bring honor to God. My ups, bring honor to God. My anger, bring honor to my attitude, bring honor to God. With my money, bring honor to God. I could go on and on and on. That's what he's trying to say. I've learned in everything that I've accomplished, that all my accomplishments, I want to please and honor God. That's the conclusion. But we'll get through. Now we'll break down what he was trying to say, uh, so that we can, make some sense of all of this. Seems like mumbo jumbo here.
Yeah, I think too. I think a lot of people just that aren't, I don't want to say not trusting God, but in a way, would question all of that, right? Like people that are starting to get into the word, it's like, how do I honor God through failure? How do I honor God in those ways? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And even to the point of trusting
Mm-hmm.
God. Like, yeah, you trust God to pray,
Mm-hmm.
right? You pray to, help your family or give prosperity to you or your kids. But do
Yeah.
you trust God when you're going through the bad times of your life?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that just bringing that to the fold is like it's super realistic at the end of the day. It's
Yeah.
people having a hard time honoring God when the
Mm-hmm.
worst moments are hitting them, you
Yeah.
know?
And I think that's what he's trying to get to. That there is a proper approach to life, um, even in your downs. And I think what happens, we allow the moments of our down to speak, uh, so loud, and we get caught up in it where we lose perspective, as if we're always going to be down. Now, I'm not going to minimize the moments where you are down, how we all feel in those moments, how the sadness can overwhelm us, but there is still a proper perspective and attitude that you can have even when you're down,
Right.
right? The anger, the being, being uh, um, kind of destructive. There are ways that you handle your down, right? That you can still have a proper perspective about life, because just though you are down now, we've learned here too that life is, it's a circle, it's a
Mhm.
cycle. And so that God is just expecting for you to the same kind of reverence and attitude you have when you up. Consider that also when you're down. Understand, right, that your we use mountaintop valley experiences, that when you're going through your valley experiences, it should humble you to a sense that, what, I know I'm down, but I know I won't be here for long, right? And I think for my approach, especially in my valleys, or it's that I know I won't be down for long. I know I won't be, and it's that anticipation, and that approach and perspective where my mountain experience will come. And so while I'm here, what can I learn from this experience? Now I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, like, oh, that's Stephen, that's mumbo jumbo, oh, but there are lessons that you can learn in those moments when you are down, that you take with you to when you're up, right? That there's the humility that we take when we're in our low valley moments, that when we get too high, we say, you know what, let me chill a little bit. Before I wild out even more, I understand, listen, it may, how you treat people when you up, you know what I mean? Like, let me not be too dismissive of anybody, because I know the way life is, I may be down tomorrow and may need these same people that I'm dismissing right now because I'm up. So there is a proper perspective that you can have where you can honor God even in your down moments. That there is some respect that you can, and I think that's what it is. We have to be able to manage both. Manage both. That's what life is teaching us.
Mhm.
That's what life as a student, we as a student, we know. You talking to somebody, younger who may not go understand, they think that their down is forever. You, as somebody with wisdom and experience, says, listen, young woman or young guy, I've been where you were. I've been exactly where you were. L- You down today, but you will be up tomorrow. Keep
Right.
your head up. Yeah, that's what it is.
Or
So
even
he's
heading,
trying to say it again.
I'm saying, or even heading there. Sometimes we see ourselves or our past selves in somebody that's heading to that destruction, and you
Yeah,
want to try to knock them back onto the tracks.
and that there's more life after this moment, right? That it's not the end of the world, because it can feel that way. It can feel like this is never ending, or this is the way my life is going to be like forever. That,
Mhm.
that's that's what it is. Sometimes it's so weird that people think they're invincible, right? They're indestructible until they get in these moments where they feel like this is how it's going to be forever. It's so weird. You know what I mean? That like I could do it all. I'm indestructible. Nothing can bother me. And then when you're down, everything bothers you.
Yep.
This is how it's going to be. Life is going to be, and we make terrible decisions from those moments of really being down, where we make desperate decisions in desperate times, which causes us sometimes to push ourselves further into that being down. That we still, in our downs, we still have to operate with patience, still got to operate with faith, still got to operate with vision.
Right.
We can't lose everything, but we have to have proper perspective. And I think that's what he's trying to say. In every situation, there has to be a level of perspective that you're down today, but what's the lesson? Okay, what are you trying to teach me, God? What are you trying to show me? Right? Those conversations need to have while you pray. God, instead of God, take it away. What are you trying to teach me in this moment? What do I need to learn about myself? What do I need to learn about the people around me? Right? What do I need to learn about for my future? All these things I think we all need to investigate when we are down. Did we talk about that last week?
Hmm.
Investigate yourself. Okay. I think all of those things need to, right? Because you learn most about yourself through your suffering, through your downs. You
Yep.
do. Like you can what can you really gauge about you in when everything is up?
Right.
Like you don't know how patient you are. You don't know your resilience, how you're able to persevere, how you're able to stick to your goals, how you able to be disciplined. You learn a lot about yourself when you're going through these moments of down. And so I think in those moments you still can honor God, if that makes sense for you.
Yep.
All right. So he has different teaching methods, because he says, the teacher was very considerate. Verse number 9 says, keep in mind the teacher was considered wise. So what he's saying is that in this book, he took great care in trying to put together, arrange this book, right, logically. Like he did not just randomly throw all these chapters together, that he made sure he thought it out. He weighed it, because that's what he says, ponder. Ponder, when somebody says they're pondering, meaning that they're weighing it on a scale of thoughtfulness, right? Right. And so when he studied, meaning that he located, he searched for, and then he put it all together. That's what arrangement. So there was a weighing process when he put together all of these chapters. He did not just choose randomly any words. He made sure he put it together. And then he found the right words that spark your imagination, spark your interest. He made sure he find the right words to capture your attention. And that's what a good teacher, let's just break for a second. A good teacher knows how to choose the right words.
Yep.
A good teacher knows how to capture your imagination. A good teacher knows how to hold, to present something where you as a student, it has to really think about it, right? And that's what he's trying to teach you, even with the words that he used in the chapter. He's teaching you how to use your words. How do you create an atmosphere where somebody who's willing to learn from you, Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that he wants us to now start thinking about how do we capture the attention of other people so that they want to learn from us. And what he's saying is that it can't be random. You have to choose your words wisely.
Right.
Right? If you're going to give advice, be thoughtful in it. Be thoughtful. You can't be just people that just throw out things. I think he wants people now to really start paying attention to how they use their words,
And their
how
approach.
they approach, their vocabulary. Think about the student. What would spark their interests? What would make this person keep wanting to come back to you? Because let's tell the truth. There's some people you talk to, and it does spark your imagination.
Absolutely.
Like something about them, you learn from them. Be like, man, I could sit and listen to this person forever.
Absolutely. There's even teachers back in the day that I'm sure you people have said, man, I remember that teacher so and so. He taught me a
Yeah,
lot. The way he was, the way he directed things, the way what he said stuff. I just wanted to be in his classroom or learn from him or her. So there's
right.
even like a favorite teacher back in the day when you're in high school, junior high, whatever, college, that
Yep.
that's your attention that really helped and guided you.
Right. So I put it, create the right tone, to keep someone listening and learning. That's what it is. A good teacher creates the right tone to keep someone listening and learning. That's important. That's what he's trying to say here. That he says in verse number 10, he sought out to find the right words to express truth clearly. The biggest thing he wants to say is this teacher, he didn't write any lies. If you're going to be a teacher, you can't be a liar. That's verse number 10. You're going to be the teacher sought to find.
I'm sorry to cut you off. For
Yeah,
some I actually seen, and
yeah.
it actually was crazy because it was talking about Solomon,
Mm-hmm,
and Cam Newton. Right? I know for some people that know sports, Cam Newton on
mm-hmm,
his podcast said, "Why can't people have a lot of wives?
mm,
Why are they not allowed to have a lot of wives? Solomon had a lot of wives. God didn't say
yeah.
nothing to Solomon. He had a lot of wives. So he said this to a preacher,
Uh-huh.
um, and the preacher said that was Solomon's biggest downfall, and that's
It
not what
was.
God said. It wasn't to have a lot of wives and all
Yeah.
of
I
that.
think that was Jamal Bryant. I think that was Jamal Bryant that
Yeah,
had.
yeah,
Yeah.
he I just couldn't believe it. Like when it broken down. So that's the teaching because there is people that will see that clip, listen to Cam
Mm-hmm,
Newton, right? Because they look
mm-hmm,
up to Cam Newton and think,
yeah.
oh, I can't have a lot of wives. You know what?
Yeah, yeah,
I could be a player. I could do all this stuff. When really
yeah.
the real teachers of the Bible that learn the Bible, that have gone through the Bible,
Yeah.
that may
That,
have a
that
smaller
was,
platform, will teach it
yeah.
better, the right
But
way.
that was his downfall. That's exactly was his downfall. And so I think we started out our first week. I remember I saying the reason why I'm bringing up Solomon because of wisdom. It's anybody that you want to learn from. You want to learn from him because of what he prayed and asked God for, right?
Yeah,
But the story of Solomon is that that just because you're wise doesn't mean you're going to make smart decisions every time.
yeah,
And that was the reason why I brought Solomon and wanted to teach us about Ecclesiastes so that people understand you can have it all together and seem like life is perfect and still don't have it all together.
yeah.
Even the best people that you revere have some issues, right? So don't stress yourself out so much in trying to, I guess, chase this level of perfection, right? Or you're comparing yourself to other people and you see how that person is living and you say, oh man, that person is perfect. I'm presenting to you the smartest man in the world, right? Which was considered one of the smartest wisest persons in the world, not smart, wisest person in the world. Yet he made silly decisions and his downfall was women.
And he strayed away from God, really.
And he strayed away from God until he had to come back. So this Solomon is an old Solomon.
Yeah.
All right. So this is why I brought it to Ecclesiastes 2. This is not 2 as in TOO, but brought it to you is because this Solomon is an old Solomon. Now he's passing down all his knowledge from his success and his failures. Right. So he's lived life. And he's recognized in it. He talks about women. He talks about, yeah, I tried all of that. And that's why I'm saying the whole conclusion of it, I tried all these different things, and the whole conclusion is have a health. Make sure you revere God in everything you do, because you will miss God in money, in women, in accolades. That's why this old Solomon is why I point to it, because he's smarter now, and he's handing down. I should have started our conversation out like that. This is an old, grizzled, grayed, full beard Solomon at at a coffee shop with you and I.
Yep.
Yeah, he pulled us over. He says, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Yeah, and you say, okay, what? And he's that OG that's been around. Now he's not even an OG anymore. He's like an elder. And he's like, okay, I want to talk to you. And he'd be like, all right. I pull up to the breakfast, spot, whatever is a coffee, whatever. Gray beard. He said, let me tell you about him. Everybody knows him in the neighborhood. Oh, you talking to Solomon? Everybody know. Let me tell you something about life. I seen how you've been moving. Let me tell you. I tried it all. See, now you automatically, he garners your respect because he has the life experience to tell you exactly. So that's what he's doing here. And Ecclesiastes is simply him taking all of his life experiences and say, I don't want to keep this. I want to give it to you so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Right? That's why I said when the students become teachers, because now the teacher is passing his knowledge to the students, and what he's expecting, everything I gave you, you better give it back. Give it to somebody else. That's right. That's what it is. And what people forget, they think wealth is only in money. They think generational wealth is only in the property, the land, money, what's in your bank account. Generational wealth is wisdom. And so some people think, you don't got anything. You have wisdom. And the best thing you can hand down to your children is your wisdom. Right? I know I hear it all the time. Oh, what you gonna leave your kids? You broke. No, my pop didn't have much, but he did have a lot of wisdom.
Yep.
And there's no amount of money you can put on that. Right? I would take good advice about money over money. Now people say, what you trying to say, Stephen? Because good advice about money will help me how to keep that money
and build it. Yeah.
Right. That's what he's trying to say. I may not be able to handle all my accomplishment and accolades, but I can hand you my wisdom. And if you build on this, you can exceed me. That's what he's trying to say. So what he's saying, no lies. A good teacher tell no lies. A good teacher don't sugarcoat things. Right? Yeah. He's careful how he says things, but he makes sure when it comes to telling the truth, a teacher must tell the truth. We can always count on the teacher to tell us the truth, right? That he's not going to say anything just to concern, out of just to say it. No, he has concern about their future. And so he's not selfishly trying to control them because of his past. He makes sure he gives them exactly what they need to hear, and he chooses his words wisely, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get to, I know you talk about what's a goad. All right. So a goad is the sturdy, long stick, like they sharpen at the end. Now we're going back to farming again. I'm so sorry for all those people that you got to remember that this is agricultural times. This is what they use every time when they have analogies. They use agricultural or farming terms. Okay, so goad is this long stick that you sharpen to the point at the end with this little, there's a iron part and then there's a wood part that you sharpen, right? And so what happens is, as the ox is plowing, the farmer would stand behind them, and every now and again when the ox is plowing and they may slow down, he used that goad and nudged them. It's sharp. So they get a little painful, sharp little pinch at their side, and it pushes them forward. And anytime they are plowing, if that makes sense, when they're plowing the field, what he does, he gives them a little firm little nudge of the gold. He golds the ox, and it moves the ox forward to perform their work, rather than that person, the ox, just standing around and just looking at the sun or grazing grass and just standing there doing nothing. What he's trying to say is that the farmer sees that the ox has slowed down and starting to become more like, procrastinating. He would go. And so what the teacher wants, and that's what he's saying, what God does every now and again, God, in moments when you're going through your down moments,
You're gonna nudge you.
something sharp.
Yeah.
Keep going. Good teacher knows how to keep going forward. I know you might be looking around tired. Keep going forward. I don't see things working together, because that's what we are. Remember, we are working and we don't see it. We're getting tired. We're getting frustrated. Oh my God, I don't see anything working. That's what painful moments are sometimes are used. God uses them. Lock in. Keep going forward. It's not, again, not punishment. And that's what it is I want to say. Don't take your down as punishment.
Right.
It's a push. Keep going forward. I know you're tired. Keep going forward. I'm sure I know you want to look around and you want to cry and feel sorry. There you go. This is what God does. He every now and again, he prompts you. He takes a little goad and prompts you so that you won't stand around, and you won't procrastinate. It moves a person ahead, right? Now, it is not punishment. It's not talking about what's behind you. It's trying to move you forward. Yeah. So don't use your painful moments as, let me go back to what I used to do. Use your painful moments as pushing you towards where you would have, your vision that you have. Use it as motivation to keep going forward. Right. So hopefully that makes sense for those of you that might be going through a moment where you feel down and you feel like, oh my God, life just seems like I'm at a standstill. Here's your goal. This is your goal tonight. Pat has it, and so do I. I have a little sharp tool, and I'm poking you. I'm poking you and telling you, keep going. It's painful.
Now,
Okay.
Pastor, question. Yeah, I'm just thinking in my head. Could you also say that as a reference to God also using people to use that poker to push you forward?
Yes. So we may not label them teachers in our life. We may not label them as teachers in our life, but we do have people that we look to every now and again for advice. And what they say does, in a way, you slap you out of your little, come on, wake up.
Yeah.
You got vision. You got a dream to pursue. You're smart, you're capable, you have potential. There's a lot of people not merely just counting on you, but there are a lot of people that believe in what you do. They know that you have what it takes. You know you have what it takes. You wouldn't have done all of this, because the reason why you're going through this frustrating time in your life is because you carry this weight of expectation, this gift that you have. If you weren't gifted, you wouldn't feel it.
Right.
That if you weren't talented, you wouldn't feel this weight. You wouldn't feel this sense of urgency to do something better. If you didn't see this in your life, you would sit there and not do anything. But because what happens is, it's that burden of expectation, it's the burden of your potential, it's the burden of your vision, that other people, they don't see that, but you feel it.
Yeah.
Right. And so what you need every now and again is somebody that had that gold You're bigger than this moment. You won't be down for long. You're too talented, too gifted to be down for long. But what I need for you to do is not look back. I need you to keep going forward. That's what these teachers or these people in your life, they do that. They nudge us. They might be saying, some people, it depends on how they say it. They be like, what's wrong with you? Some people are a little bit more, what's wrong with you? Are you dumb?
Yeah.
You stupid? Are you stupid or what? You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
Are you dumb? You dumb? You know you better than this.
Yeah.
It's painful, but yet it's still purposeful. Right? And so that's what he's saying. A good teacher knows how to use that. Right? That's what, as a teacher, or anybody else have to, you walk around with that. And when you see people in your life, young people in your life who may be stuck and getting weary, take that out.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying I'm doing to y'all here. All of this, a good teacher knows how to use its gold when the ox is getting tired and weary and standing around procrastinating. What are you doing? Come on. There's more things for you to do. You can't stop here.
Right.
Good teachers understand that. Hopefully that makes sense.
Absolutely. I would even say for the elderly too. I think there's still elderly people that dwell in moments. And I feel like somebody that is young, that even if they haven't been through as much as somebody that is old, can still have wisdom in that to help push somebody that may be older than them along, as they struggle with whatever they're going through.
Right. That you know how to use, it's painful, so you got to know how to use it. You can't use that tool, because some people use that and just stab people. No.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't. And so that's what he's saying in verse number 11. The words of a wise are like a cattle prod. It's painful, but it's helpful. Right. So now they understand. It makes sense now.
Yep.
And now the next one is nails. Right. Saying their collected sayings or their truth of words are like nails studded sticks with a shepherd. Now, everybody know that there are all nails come in all different shapes inside. Right.
Yes.
For those of you, right, there are all different type of nails that you use for building things.
Yep.
Right. So there's roofing nails, finishing nails, plastic nails. There's all different type of nails, different shapes, different sizes, right? And they're each designed for a particular job, right? So you can't necessarily use some cement nails with roofing nails,
right?
So what he's trying to say is that every teacher knows what nails to use. Right? Because if Pat comes to me and he's going through a moment where he needs finishing nails.
Yep.
I can't, as a teacher, go and get some cement nails.
Right.
Because that would damage what he's building.
Yep.
So a good teacher is able to analyze what that person needs and find the nails to finish or hold things together. That's what nails do. Like sometimes what it is that one nail that holds your whole. You know what I mean? Life was falling apart, and then you get that one word of advice, and that nail.
Boom. It's true.
Boom.
It's so true.
So that's what he's trying to say. Good teachers, you don't just talk. Good teachers now know how to use their words. They analyze a situation, see what somebody's going through, and says, okay, that person might be going through this. I can't say this because it makes things worse. I'm sure you've talked to somebody where life is all scattered apart and they said the wrong thing.
Yep.
And so that's what he's trying to say. As teachers now, he's teaching us all how to be teachers now. I've given you so much information. Now I need to teach you how to apply this information. This is where the wisdom comes in, where I said all the things that you needed to hear, but now I need to know how to use your gold, Know what nails to use, right? Make sure. So a wise teacher gets two results, right? He serves to spur people into action, motivate them to do something, and it's teaching them how to change. Okay, so I know I said a lot right there, but this is Bible study. A wise teacher gets two results. He spurs people into action, motivate them to do something, teaching them or teaching change. And so I use that as my bottom line. Every time somebody speaks to me, it's I'm motivating you into an action. What I'm trying to do is try not to let you look backwards. Is go forward, right? Now, I always say the backward is a place for information, not a residence, right? It's not a place you live, it's a place you learn. Now,
Right.
some people get stuck. Yeah, some people get living in their past. No, it's a place you look to learn from, not live in.
Right.
And so every teacher, what your motivation, what your objective is, anybody you speak to, it's to spur them into action, motivate them to do something, and teach them that in change. That's what I'm pushing you to change. You could do it. And also now it's finding the right nails. You want to find the right nails because you want to hammer whatever you say into somebody's heart. Right? The words that you use, I'm not just trying to drive it into your mind. I'm trying to drive it into your heart,
Yeah.
drive it into your soul, and most importantly, drive it into your spirit.
Absolutely.
Okay, that might hope did I say a lot right there?
Yeah, and I think even as a teacher, I think you would also have to, in my opinion, I also feel like as a teacher, what comes with it sometimes is even when
Mm,
you directly say it or have the right intention behind it, some
mhm.
people aren't there yet mentally to
Yep,
grasp it.
yep,
So being able to be patient within teaching, I feel like is a big thing that people just have to realize. Like you
yep,
tell your auntie or somebody or your uncle or something that
yep.
you feel like needs to be said to really help them, and they just
Right.
not hearing you, and they're making the same mistake or they're making the same over and over again. It's easy
Yeah.
for people, even as teachers, to get
Hmm.
frustrated with the
Yep.
fact that no, they're not picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
So I think within even teaching it is really just having patience and also
Hmm.
doing it for the right reason, not just teaching somebody because you have the knowledge. Oh, don't
Yeah.
go down that road, don't go
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just doing that because I'm the OG and I just want, I just want to say,
Right. Right.
I just want to be the one to say it to you first.
Yeah.
Not really actually saying it, meaning it, and then when they do prosper and you do see that, knowing that you helped, but don't take all the credit, knowing that
Yeah.
you were a vessel to help them get there.
I think it is. That's. I mean, again, great points, Pat. I think we have to sometimes leave our ego out of this. That we can't. We walk around with too much ego. We're saying it to not for their benefit, but for them to learn how smart we are.
Right.
Right. That's what it is. I'm only telling you because I want you to know how smart I am. Yeah, that's first of all, that's not the way a good approach for a teacher anyway, because you're caring more about your knowledge more than helping them.
Yep.
Second, you got to understand your knowledge is seeds, right? And that no seed that you plant grows immediately,
Right.
right? Some of the things that I've heard from my dad took me 10 years to process,
Yep.
right? That it took the down moments, the tears, my own tears that watered those seeds, right? You know what I mean? Like it took the tough times to water that seed so that now I could realize that's how it's going to grow. You know what I mean? Like I didn't learn it until 10 years later that now I see, oh my God, because right, we're not there yet, and we can't expect words of advice to always bear fruit immediately.
Right.
Sometimes these things at the stage of their life, it's there though. It's there, right? And that's the thing we have to learn. Even the farmer analogy again is that when farmers plant a seed, it's going to go through the winter. It's going to go through the winter of it, where that soil looks dry, looks deserted and terrible. But he understands that spring season in that person's life, they were going to come around and say, "Oh, you know what? I get it.
Yeah.
Makes sense." Parenting is like that.
And going back to what you said, where
Yeah.
it said there's still seed there, like it sits there sometimes, and it does take a long time. I think I've said it on Bible study. I think I did. I definitely said it on my podcast, but there's something
Yeah.
that always sits with me, and this was told to me when I was 20, either 20 or
Mm-hmm.
21, in a stage of my life where only thing I cared about was going out,
Mm-hmm.
talking to women. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing I
That's
cared
it.
about. I go get
Yeah.
money, work,
Yeah.
whatever. But those are
Yeah.
the only two things I cared about at this point in my
Right.
life, right? Was going out and talking to women and being around women. I
Mm-hmm.
never forget a guy that was my age and now 30, he's probably 32, 33 at the time. He stopped me, he seen what I was doing, and he stopped me. He
Mm-hmm.
said, "Hey, bro, like, listen, I see what you're doing. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, but sit back, get your money, do what you got to do for your life,
Yeah.
and they'll still be there when all of that is done." And
Yep.
I heard it. I heard it. The seed was there, was
Mm-hmm.
planted. I never watered it until so far down the line that sometimes I'll even look back and say, I've said it a couple of times to people randomly and be like, man, I should have listened to him right away, because
Yep.
what he was saying was so true. But I was just like, yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah. Yeah. But you wasn't
no,
there.
don't last.
Right. It stays there. It doesn't go any. See, I think that's what it is. A good teacher, and I love when you say a good teacher has to be patient. Right.
Mhm.
That is key. That a good teacher has to be patient, where right you understand that you leave the seed there. Right. You did your duty, or you did your job in giving them the best advice that you can in the moment. You see where they're headed, you see what they're doing, and you say, "This is it. I've been down that road. I see what you're doing. Understand, this is going to end soon. So you prepare yourself. This partying thing don't last forever, right? You don't want to be 70 in the club still, right? You don't,
We've
right? So
seen it though.
we have.
We've seen it. I've seen a couple of men out there in the club back in the day. I was like,
Y-
brother, what's going on?
Yeah, I remember when I used to do the same thing. It used to hand, and I was like, actually at that time I used to say, man, I hope when I hit like 60, 70, I am not here.
Like,
And
yeah,
to my friends, I was like, yo, if you see me, please. And they was like,
take me.
nah, Steve, we won't be here. We won't be here. So, but that advice doesn't go anywhere,
Right.
right? That's the thing about good advice. It may not be appear on the surface level, but you've planted it in their spirit,
Yep.
right? That's when it's good advice. Good advice, you planted it in their spirit, you nailed it to their heart, right? That's the whole nails again. You've driven it into their life, you've driven it into their spirit, driven it into their heart and mind. So although it may not take, you don't see the roots of it or the fruit of it, understand that it's there. And they may take 5 years to understand it. They may take a week, right?
Right.
I'm sure some of the stuff I tell some of the kids I counsel right now, yeah, they be like, Pastor Steve, you don't know what's up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, some do, some people say, I see what you're saying. I do, I see what you're saying, but I'm just not there yet. Now, some people tell you right away, I see what you're saying. I know that might be the best thing for me. But right now, fun screams too much. Right? You know what I mean? The fun of right now of this moment is just
Yeah.
I'm having too much of a good time. And then here's the thing: it's not only that they're in it, it's their group they're surrounding. So it's the peer pressure in it too. Like I can't be the only one not doing this.
Well,
You know what I mean?
think about even who you surround. Like what you're saying is who you surround yourself with. Even
Yeah,
within people in your friend group, if even if you want to get closer to God, there could be a
yeah.
peer pressure from even the outside noise of that.
Yes,
Not
absolutely.
everybody's gonna see it that way. Not everybody, some
Yeah.
people may see you as just the person that they know from the past, and then there's other
Yeah.
people that just won't accept the fact that it's not their belief. So why are you going to do it? You know,
Or now ain't the time. Like
right,
so I know personally people that say, okay, I know the right things to do. I know that I need to, have more respect for God. I know, but I think that's going to be later down in my life. In their mind, they when I hit 28 or I hit 30, when I want to think about settling down, then I want to, but right now I'm in my fun stage.
yep,
Now, what going back to our Ecclesiastes, this is why he says, fix what you can while you're young, because the issue is, let me make sure I get that. The issue is our patterns. And in patterns get harder to break when you're older,
it's true.
right? That's why. So, you know, one of the things when he says, remember to create in the day of your youth, when you're young, because he understands that you have the energy. And we talked about it a little bit last week. We talked about it that as you get older, it's the patterns that you've now conditioned yourself as a young person becomes even harder to break when you're older, which
Right.
is why you do see the 70-year-olds still in the club, because they had those conditions from younger. Go ahead, I
Right.
see you.
And I also want to put out there, and this is not me again coming at nobody.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
when I say these things, I just look at it and view it in this regard. I'm just gonna speak for myself, right?
Yeah,
So being always being a kid that was skinny and always in shape for the most part. Like it didn't matter
mhm,
what I ate, what I did, I stayed the
yeah,
same size. I couldn't put on weight, but I just stayed the same size.
right,
Sometimes it would bother me, whatever the case may be. But my habit was eating bad,
yeah,
drinking whatever I want to do,
right,
being lazy when I want to be lazy, or being active when I want to be active.
right,
Now, into my 30s, I put on weight because of the
yeah,
habit of eating the way I used to eat. Now I'm trying
yep,
to learn how to eat differently, and it's
yep,
hard to stay on that track when you walking past a bag of chips when you know you're not supposed to have that bag of
right,
chips.
right,
And
right,
there's a lot of people take that not only in they have a bad habit, but they try to take some of the, and I don't want to be disrespectful and say the easy way out, but
yeah.
sometimes different way, and that's like I forget what it's called, but the shot that a lot of people are taking
Ozempic,
aren't diabetic. Yes, Ozempic to
yeah,
lose that weight,
yeah,
and I feel
yeah,
like that's just an example of habits that you know can be
patterns,
are patterns and that are
yeah,
hard to break.
yeah. That you condition yourself for a certain level of patterns at a young person, right? That can be that although they might be fun and unharmful when you're young, they can be destructive when you're old,
Right.
right? That the same habits you had of eating whatever you want, doing whatever you want as your body can take it. Now, at when you hit a certain age, your body can't. Now, I want to add to that, your spirit at one age can maybe handle that, but
Okay.
at another age, it can't. That
Yep.
you could some things in your life, it never even bothered you. It never stressed you at all.
Yep.
You didn't worry about it at all. It was something you breezed by. Oh, people talk, people talking about now. Somebody whispers something about you. It's destructive in your mind, plays in your thoughts, and if it bothered you a little bit when you were younger, it's gonna bother you a lot more when you're older.
Yep.
And you hope that it changes, but that's what he's trying to say. That there are these patterns that we have as a young person that you need to investigate yourself, because although they're not hurtful now, they can be very destructive later on if you don't get a hold of it, right? That's why he's trying to really push now at the conclusion. Investigate yourself, understand the patterns, right? Understand the patterns, the things that you can easily escape from when you're young. You can't do that when you're old.
Right.
You won't have the same amount of energy and stamina, right? That gym to that vigor to wake up and go to the gym and be disciplined when you're old is completely different when you're young. Young, I got it. My body, my metabolism is
Yeah.
yeah. Now when you're older, that
Hard to stop.
metabolism starts right. And so he's trying to say, when you're old, when you're younger, investigate habits that can be destructive. that can hurt the future you.
Right.
People don't think that far, right? They don't think that far. They don't realize what you're doing now is hurting the future you. That
Yep.
you won't be able, as an old person, to shake that. That's why people say, "What would you tell your younger self?" You
Mm.
know, it be, it says, wiser, do this. Younger self, be more disciplined,
And
because
even
young you.
sorry to cut you off, and even for the
No, no,
fact
no.
of just being you never know when your time is up. So
That's enough.
people
There you go.
saying I'm gonna do this when I'm 35. You don't know if you're gonna reach 35. Respectfully, it's just
Respectfully.
it's on God's time, so you don't know.
Respectfully, and nothing can, your life could have been one where it's respectfully, you could live to old age, but because of your destructive habits, you cut your own life short,
Yes.
right? That's why the Bible says this is your temple. This is the temple that you need to honor it. Like what you put in your body, what you put in your mind, he's giving you this one body that you need to respect even when you're young, because your habits, your patterns can be so destructive to your future, right? And there's the consequences. Again, respectfully, for people that smoke and all these kind of things, understand what you are doing to your body and that the consequences that come with it, right? And again, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not knocking anybody for whatever you're doing right now. This is not me throwing shade and saying, "Oh, you're tough." No, I'm just saying, understand the consequences that comes with the decisions that you make, that how it can really hurt the future version of yourself.
Yeah.
That now the old you can't shake young boy habits. And you've seen it. You've seen a lot of, I was with some people today, that old men, you're talking about 65, still trying to holler at young girls like, you in your 20s. No, that old you uh, is gone. That young you is gone.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know what you see in the mirror. Whatever you're looking in the mirror, like whatever's like they still trying to, yeah, I could get that. No, you can't. Can you just I'm sorry. Listen, I was with somebody that swear, like, yeah, I'm gonna get what? Go home to your wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These young habits trapped in an old man's body, and in the mirror, you are thinking that you're young and you're not, and
Right.
it becomes destructive to you. Really, the stress and all that thing you add to your body, your heart can't take that level of anxiety and stress. When you're younger, yeah, you can blow that. Going around hanging out with multiple women, easy.
Right.
So that's what he wants to make sure you escape those patterns, and then again understand the a good teacher, right? A wise teacher knows how to use his words to motivate, right? Knows how to spur change, utilize strategies that can drive that students will remember your advice. Again, it is piercing their hearts, their minds, and their memory. You want them to be able to remember it. Your teachers help us progress, not just remember. I don't want you just to remember. I want you also to progress. I want you to keep moving forward, right? And so he now he ends it by he's saying, right, remembering, keep the Lord's commandments, or remembering God's word. You fear God, keep his commandments, keep his word, right? So in your word of God, the reason why we, study the word of God, the reason why we open up the word of God, the reason why we do this Bible study is that one of the things is that I gave like 4 C's so that it can be easy to remember. They go the teacher version in me. So, right, why we do Bible study, right? So number one is it convicts us, right? Now, when we say convict for us, for me, is just making you aware of yourself, right? I think the word of God for me, it shocks me out of Stephen. It wakes me up.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So I'm trying to again explain it in the way that I use the Bible. like when I read it, it shocks me out of me. It makes me aware of little habits, things that I left, unnoticed or I avoided. And now it awakens my spirit. That's what the word of God doing is speaking to the spirit level. And it is making me aware of my wrongs. It's making me aware of my faults, right? And so that I can confess, I can repent, I can go to God and say, Lord, I'm sorry. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
After it convicts me, it challenges me to be better, right? So it convicts me, wakes me up and says, Stephen, you should not be doing this. There's that heaviness and guilt to say, God, I'm so sorry for doing things. I messed up again. Forgive me. And now it challenges me to do better, right? Right. And then it converts me. Of course, people say they converts you. You start to change and sees that, right? And that's what it gets the last, it convicts, it challenges, it converts, and at the end of it, what it wants, it changes me. That's what the Bible does. I read it because it convicts, it challenges, it converts, and then it changes, right? And a good teacher understands that, right? A good teacher wants to wake you up, shock you out of yourself. A good teacher uses convictions. A
Right.
good teacher challenges you to be better because the good teacher understands, I want you to change. Yeah. And that's what he's saying here in Ecclesiastes number 12.
Ecclesiastes, man, in general, that chapter of the Bible is, for me, it touched on everything that I've gone through in my life so far. I mean,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Even living boldly and living wisely in chapters of my life now that I'm still trying to figure out. There's so many
Mhm.
things, and like you said, the Bible is something that will wake you up when you're going through stuff and you open up the Bible and you read something. You like, man, that's so weird that I'm reading that today, and they talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that, and man, it's something that it's weird, but it's not weird. It's
Yeah.
for a reason.
Yeah.
And
It's for you.
Ecclesiastes was different and impactful, and I know it's impactful for a lot of people. Pastor Stephen, thank you for teaching that, because
Oh,
that
I
was
appreciate
super impactful for me, and I know impactful for others.
it. Yeah.
We've been through 12 weeks of this, and I think people have really grown and appreciated what's been going on, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what's next. I
Yeah.
definitely wait to see what's next and what chapter we're gonna do. I don't want you to tell anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to sit down, study it for a little bit. So season two may take some time,
Absolutely.
people. Yeah, because I want to make sure, like I did, you know, um, even when Pat said, we should do this Bible study, right? So I sat down and really thought about what I think we all at a place in life will need. And I knew Ecclesiastes definitely speaks. What I want the Bible to be is practical for you.
Right.
I want it to be something where you can learn from, where it can hit home. And so I really want to think about, right, what we've learned and then how I can add to what we learned to take us to that next step. Right. So that season two can be, even better.
Absolutely.
Right. Right. So hopefully you have, now willing to pick up the Bible. One of the things I would want people not to do is don't be scared of the Bible. Don't be
Right.
scared of it. It speaks practical to you. It speaks everyday language. These are regular people, just like you and I, journeying with God the same way. These are not people that are perfect.
Right.
The Bible is filled with flawed people who's trying to figure out life just the same way. That's why it's so impactful, because although they're in the Bible, these are regular people trying to put their life together at the same time, honor God. Right.
Yep.
And that's what I'm trying to do the same thing every single day.
Don't be lazy to the Bible either. As much as being scared, don't be lazy to the Bible as
Yeah.
well. I know I've been a person that has been lazy to the Bible in certain times of my life. So
Yeah.
don't be lazy to the Bible if you see it and you're not doing anything, or even if you're doing something, you got 10
Yeah.
minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day. Take your time to read it.
Yeah.
Practice what you preach, and really take these last 12 weeks as something that you could push forward into the summer,
Yeah.
into this time, And like Pastor said, he's gonna find what he needs to really make this go. And I think this is so impactful for people that I know people are going to be excited and
Yeah.
probably be yearning to hear more and more and more.
And
But
here's a good thing: you got 12 weeks. We got
exactly,
12 weeks, a full library.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And there's probably in the 12 weeks, there's probably things that you have not seen or heard that will register maybe in a time period of your life
yeah,
that you're going through now or next
yeah,
month or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So Pastor, I just want to say thank you for this
I
season.
know. Thank
Um,
you.
it's been super impactful,
Yeah,
and I'm always thankful, as you know. And we got a little bit of stuff to do for the people,
yeah,
and
yeah,
excited. I'm excited for what's to come, for
yeah.
real. And man, I just want to say thank you. I always tell you that, but seriously, thank you,
And I
man.
tell you the same thing. Nah, it's a pleasure. This was helpful, beneficial for me too. Don't think that just because I do maybe 65% of the talking, like it's not helping me too. Like I read Ecclesiastes, and guess what, guys? I go back.
Yeah,
I go back and read Live Boldly every now to remind myself when I'm going through moments of like listen, Stephen, live boldly. When
right.
I'm in my down moments, be more mature, be more wise. This is not something where I'm not going back to it. That's what I'm saying. We have 12 weeks. We have a catalog of great discussion, right? Sometimes we go off and we just talking about regular life things where you could always go back to it. We got a catalog. We could always go back to it
Exactly.
and use that as a wealth of knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With that being said, we really do appreciate y'all for being here for the first season of Bible study.
Yeah.
Seriously, we are thankful from people that have been here from week 1 to week 12 or from week 5 to week 12. It doesn't matter. We are appreciative. And if this was your first time today, we want to just say thank you. Truly thank you. You're doing it to support us, but really you're doing it for yourself and for God. And that's what's most important about all of this. So I just want to say thank you. Bridget, I see is in there. Anybody that's been in the chat these 12 weeks also, thank you for bringing your comments, bringing everything. Anybody that's gotten a t-shirt, God is enough. We still have
Yeah.
some on the website, cultureshockny.net. Um, but seriously, anybody that supported, regardless, or even if you just showed up, listened, and took something from it, we are truly thankful. Um,
Yeah.
we will definitely see you soon. We will definitely see you soon. And anybody that's watching the game right now, don't know the score, but go Knicks. And we're fantastic. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate
Yes,
you, man.
sir.
All right,
All
my man.
right.
I'll see you
Later.
later.